Greetings, everyone. Thank you for once again joining us on our podcast, Critics, Writers, and Weebs. My name is Star, and I have my co-host as usual, NoTea. And today we'll be discussing Domestic Girlfriend, which was a suggestion that we kind of came up with together.
Yeah.
We wanted, I think this was brought up by NoTea, where we wanted to watch the first episode of a notoriously bad series, maybe mini review it and then gain a lot of predictions for that series and what's going to happen throughout, and then finish the series or watch the last episode of the series, I should say, and see if those predictions kind of fell in and if anything happened that we just did not expect. Um, and yeah, would you like to give any more background on this, Noti?
Yeah, so it's like part of the thought was like, okay, there's a lot of series that you have seen, a lot of stuff I have seen, but sometimes what we've seen don't overlap with each other, so our options can be kind of limited for what we can talk about. And then I was thinking like, okay, what's a series that neither of us would really ever watch? Like, what's something we're not going to waste our time on, but we can dedicate like 2 episodes to it just to see what's going on?
And we came to Domestic Girlfriend one because it is a bit more like notorious, right?
Yeah,
A lot of people know about this series for good or for bad,
mainly bad.
and mainly the bad, absolutely. And so we just figured that one would be the best to kind of give this experiment to. So I mean, you could try this with your friends at home or with your enemies at home, I suppose, if you really wanted to. But yeah, let's get right into it. So, do we have any background on Domestic Girlfriend? I have a little bit. So,
I didn't really look into the background of this. I
I mean, I know the manga. It's just from, I believe, Kodansha.
Yeah.
It is a Kodansha manga. I know the studio. Let's see. I have the thing here. Yeah, looks like the animation studio is Sentai Filmworks. Not unfortunately sure what they're too famous for,
I
but
think Sentai Filmworks. I think that's a licensing studio.
is it?
Yeah.
Let's see. Ah, yes, it is. Licensed by. Oh, studio. It's Dio Media. Dio Media.
Don't think I've heard of that one.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think Sentai is the people who licensed Bloom into You.
it has a native name, but known as Studio Barcelona. Oh,
Hmm.
okay, well, that is something that we learned, but unfortunately, that doesn't play too much into the review because I don't really have much to say about them, just so you know. But yeah, Domestic Girlfriend, I believe, what year did it release? Let's see.
I think
Um,
the anime came out in like 2016 or something. Or,
it looks like 2019. It's a little bit more recent,
holy,
which
holy shit, you're right.
which is honestly
And
unexpected.
the manga came out in 2014, so manga
Okay.
is 10 years old. Time.
So I guess before we get into the series, what going into watching the first episode, what did you know or what was your preconceptions about the series?
So I had a little bit of experience with the series before. I read like the first 2 chapters like 3 or 4 years ago, so I didn't really remember anything. I remembered what the main plot thing was, but I kind of forgot everything else surrounding it. So it's
Hmm.
like I kind of went to the first episode with like my ass cheeks clenched, like waiting for the thing to happen. It's like
Yeah,
watching a storm on the horizon like blow in, waiting to destroy everything.
yeah. For me, I heard a lot about it like being bad. Like most people say, "Oh, this is trash." Uh, but they would always say, "This is trash," but the opening is fire. I think the opening song is fire. I listened to the song a lot, but I think the actual opening is vastly overrated,
I
dare I say.
I think it's decent enough. Like the
I think it's
visuals,
fine.
but like the song, it's kind of the thing where the song is just so good. Like,
The song is good, but I'll get into this later because I have a little bit of a side rant to talk about with that.
okay,
But so there was that preconception, and then I heard incest, and I got a little concerned because I was like, all right, this is weird already. Like when your preconception on a series is incest, red flags start to go off, right? You know, you're starting to think to yourself, maybe I shouldn't watch this series
mm.
as a reasonable human being. But
as a as a
here
person
here
with
we are.
siblings, it's like I feel like the people who write this kind of
Yeah,
stuff usually don't have siblings of any kind.
yeah, and especially as a person who has a younger sister, it's like I'm not gonna be into this at all. Like this is freaking weird, but needless to say, here we are. So we did make the decision to watch it. So, um, any initial first impressions from the episode?
So the first episode actually really surprised me outside of like that initial twist where for like the first half of the episode I was actually kind of on board with the series. Like it wasn't like perfect or groundbreaking. I had like just rewatched March Comes In Like a Lion, which blew my mind. So but this was decent enough. The main character had a somewhat interesting struggle on the way he was trying to go about it and process things. Like the characters were decent enough. The writing wasn't too bad. The music was all right. The character designs were nice to look at. It was like this isn't bad. I could watch an entire thing of this. And then like 14 minutes in, the twist happens and just any ability to take the series seriously just flew out the window.
Yeah, so I kind of had that similar kind of initial reaction where you see the struggle. You know, obviously he's coming to grips with something that a lot of teenagers have to come to grips with. It's like this idea that where does sex play in a relationship? Does it necessarily mean you have to have a relationship, or can it just be a one-time thing? And so it's like I'm putting so much effort into this. I'm like, all right, I'm with the series
And it's
now.
like
Where I oh, go ahead, go ahead.
and it's like the conflict of this, like the main character of the kid of being like he wants to grow up, but it doesn't know what he wants to grow up into. Like he wants to be seen as an adult. He wants responsibilities. He wants to be taken seriously, but he doesn't have an idea for his future, what he should do with it. Like you see that he likes to write, but he's having trouble fully committing to it or doesn't know what to do.
And that's great, actually. I mean, I dare I say that's a great concept. That's something that I can get behind. That's something I can support. Where I, especially as a teacher of many students, get separated and disconnected with this series is when immediately um, the teacher, Hina, just is the most flirtatious teacher on the planet
Yeah,
to this boy.
that is
Like it is immediately established that she wants that boy. And like,
yeah.
guys, come on. Like, I don't need to be that guy because I feel like this is unnecessary to say, but speaking as a teacher, do not and I'm staring at the camera here. Do not have any sort of romantic relationships with your students. Please. Uh,
This
but
brought to you by the woke liberal agenda.
yeah,
But yeah, it's like
but yeah, that from that moment on, like for me, I am not taking this series seriously. Like all of those fantastic ideas, those great challenging ideas of like relationships gets entirely thrown out the window when you introduce a character who is so much of a character rather than a
yeah,
human being.
and like some of the ideas were really good starting out. Like obviously, like age gap romance is my favorite thing, but the idea of a character pining for someone that they ultimately can't get, I'm somewhat curious on how that turns out and what that exposes about the character, especially with this one and his desire to be grown up, to be taken seriously. I'm like, okay, I don't care for the Pina all too much, but the main character is kind of doing a lot, and again, him doing the one night stand with the one girl and him not being happy about it. It doesn't fulfill him anyway because he's reaching for the things that are supposed to make him happy, but that's not what he's actually looking for, so it doesn't work.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, he's got honestly the main character is, at least from the first episode, relatively interesting.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I would say that it definitely his situation is definitely interesting as well. But just how he feels. You know, he said it. He wants to be treated as a grown up, but he doesn't know necessarily what that entails, and so he's trying to go out and do things that perhaps are adult. And in doing so, he's not gaining what he needs. He's just doing things to try and satisfy those needs. And I think I'm actually, and honestly, Rui touched upon a blue hair.
Mm-hmm.
I'm quite interested in her side of the story. I might actually continue the series on my own, not necessarily for like if I was making this video, just because I would be interested to see how they approach her character. Um, because I feel like this is something that could be done well in this. If there's anything to be done well with the series, I feel like Rui's character has to be it. So I'm really banking on her as a character.
From what I've seen in this episode, he could either be the worst character in the series or the best character. I don't see much middle ground for her writing.
Exactly, and that's why I'm really hoping it's going to be the best. But animation studios have a thing about the blue hair girls. They usually make them less important overall.
Yeah.
I'm looking at you, darling, in the Franks. Um, but speaking of more characters, the I don't actually remember the guy's name. The friend of Natsuo with the glasses, who we
Yeah.
never see his pupils, it's just glasses. I think he's the best character in the series, if we're being honest.
It's because he's the most logical.
He's the most logical. Like he literally says, "What? You have the zone? What? This is not right, man. This is weird." It's like, thank you. This guy gets it. I think I wrote on my notes here. Yeah, this guy gets it. And then I also wrote, yeah, the friend, I like him. So those are stellar notes from the professor here.
that, uh, and it's like, do you know what the funny thing about Domestic Girlfriend is? It
Go
would
on.
work so well as a comedy, because this plot is just so dumb. Like,
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. If you approach it in a comedic fashion, this is great.
like the sheer like suspend like we all know about suspension of disbelief kind of. It's a story, you're not supposed to look into things too seriously, but this crosses that line. Like, it is just all the things that have had to happen for this to occur is like, especially with the first half of the episode, which was relatively realistic and down to earth. Like, okay, we've probably met or been with or been the main character feeling the things he's felt, and then this shows up, and it's like, I'm supposed to be taking it seriously. I can tell from the way it is written, I'm supposed to find this serious.
Yeah, and I think that's the issue, right? Where it's like you have underneath this very comedic setup is a genuine drama, like something that could be like a coming of age drama, a issue of a boy who wants to become a man and what that step's going to look like. And instead, we are given harem trash in a series that doesn't need harem trash. And as a person who loves harem trash, I'm disappointed that this series has it.
Yeah, it's like there's there's something I believe with like storytelling and writing where what actually comes out isn't the most important thing. What's the most important is like, what is the writer trying to convey? If the writer conveys what they're intending to convey, it works. If something's meant to be good and it's good, it works. If something is supposed to be presented as bad and it's seen as bad, it works. Sometimes you just find things where you can so tell that the author meant it one way, but that's just not how it is. Like Twilight's a very big example. All those characters are awful. The romance is awful. Like it's so toxic and shitty. But you can tell the author genuinely believes it's the most romantic thing anyone's ever read. So it just creates a disconnect. That's just what I felt watching the second half of this episode, where it's like, you you want me to see this as an actual serious thing that I could learn from, and I can't.
Yeah, like I mean, if I'm trying to like really settle myself on it, and I just can't. There's no part of my brain that can fathom this situation. And so I can't sympathize with the situation. I can't say I can still be invested in the drama after you have presented me with this cartoon, this carnival, right, of a cartoon family, and it's like I just can't, I can't figure it out.
And then we also immediately get into like the romance anime hijinks of, oh, no towel, ha ha ha
Yeah,
ha.
I usually don't have a towel. And also, okay, so here's my notes on the first scene. So, okay, first scene really sets the tone. Ass, I lost my virginity, opening theme song. We are getting, we see Rui's ass, we see the main character say, I just lost my virginity. And then we get the opening theme song. Like, it gets going, it tells you exactly what we're going for the entire time. It's like, we're going straight into this.
And the way that isn't presented isn't in like a fan servicey way. It's supposed to be more of like a showing of intimacy or supposed
Right.
intimacy that just happened.
But then you look back at the end of the episode when you have the same episode has like this intimate scene where the character is naked, and it's just like literally something that is done better in quintessential quintuplets with a character walking out with a towel and realizing, haha, there's a boys in here. Oh my gosh, can't, tee hee hee hee, like. And I'm supposed to feel bad for this teacher character. I'm supposed to feel something for this teacher character.
Yeah, that's something I felt with the teacher. Kind of like he got way too comfortable way too quickly with their whole like dynamic after
She was always comfortable with it.
like she was always comfortable with it, but I could believe a certain level of distance, like her putting her foot down. But then they became step siblings, and all of that was gone. She was fully comfortable immediately.
Somehow, this is one of my bold predictions. Somehow, she arranged that the father and the mother um, were getting remarried. So somehow she set this up.
You think this is like some Death Note level planning? Like,
I think there's some sort of like jigsaw level plan here, right? I think she gave him a choice, like let me go through your son's phone, right? But I feel like somewhere along the line, Hina, the teacher character, did set up the relationship between Natsuo and the Tachibana's mother and father. So
and that's a
that's one of my bold predictions. I like it is like a weaker one. Obviously, there's not really much to base it off of, but I'm just saying this is the type of series to do that.
and I just thought like another thing the series could have done. Like, it is established early on that he lost his mom when he was young, so that's something that could have been explored. It's kind of shown that him and his dad like they care about each other, but there isn't too much intimacy shown in between them. So it's like,
Yeah, I mean the first interaction is literally he just like kind of grunts and at his son
yeah,
oh, good night,
yeah. So it's like that's something that could have been explored instead of this plot. I,
And also, we haven't even gotten to the fucking ending, dude. So, in the ending, right? Ending of episode one of this anime, of course, the teacher is drunk on the couch, asleep in very intimate clothing, and you can't. You're as a high school boy, of course, you want to. This just goes through, and I'm being very ironic here. This just goes through every single kid's I like memories, and every kid wants to. This is every kid's desire. They see their teacher lying on their couch, drunk in intimate clothing, and you just want to lean in and go for a kiss despite not actually making the contact. And of course, your new little sister, who you had sex with, looks at you as you're doing it and watches you silently in the corner, not saying a single word. And then you look up and you see her, and then it's a big ordeal. And oh, here comes the harem trash. And it's like, guys, there was a drama here.
Yeah, it's like at that point I'm like, there is no coming back from this. Like, uh, and like the very
Yeah.
intense internal monologue of him just one kiss, one contact, and I'll let it go. And it's like ah, you had something good. This could have been
Like,
something.
and like, I didn't realize that going into the series. I didn't realize that there was good to it.
That
And
like
then we get to it and it's like, yeah, this is great. More, more, more.
and like I have like this weird thing because I knew what the twist was, so I was kind of waiting for that. Then I was genuinely shocked at how much I enjoyed the first half of the episode. Like, hey, decent story, good
And
characters.
actually, so genuinely, I have on my my first note sheet here. Um, after we're introduced to the sensei, I was like, wait, is the sensei related to the girl? Like I did not know that, so I did. One of my predictions was true. And then I said, wait, does he really have attraction to this teacher? And well, both of my predictions were for episode one were spot on. So good job, me. Pat myself on the back there.
They couldn't have just they couldn't have just left it as like a puppy love thing, but no, he like seriously genuinely has the hots for his teacher, who is now his older stepsister.
Which is a good Van Halen song, but is not a good thing to do in real life.
We could have had a nice wholesome scene of this guy meeting like his dad's new partner. Like my parents like got divorced, so it was always I remember how much of a big deal it was when I was meeting a new partner of my parent. You could have done something there, but the mom is just not a character, and I'm not reading the manga to find out if she becomes one.
I might read the manga. Just because I, I, I have to say, as unappealing as this relationship situation is, I am a major fan of harem trash, and I might just read it. I might just read it.
It is very
I,
fun.
I know for a fact I will finish the anime. I might just read the manga. I might just have to.
It is very funny how both of us went into this with low expectations for this. They got raised just a little bit, and then they kind of went crashing back down.
And uh, like I want to talk about one of the really good moments here because I do have some notes on it. So when Natsuo is reflecting on the sexual encounter he had with Rui, I want to talk about the color choices. That was awesome. Very bright red, orange, pink in her bedroom. A very warm, like I wouldn't even say warm, like this was hot colors. Like we're talking like Japan summer hot colors, Florida summer hot colors, environments we're familiar with.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Uh, but yeah, I mean, very, very hot colors, red, orange, pink, and it really sets the tone. Um, it looked great. I think it was a great color choice for what's going on. You can really set the emotions for the situation. I think it was a really good choice by the animation staff. And I'm not sure what that scene looks like in the manga, but if it was intentional, like they did a great job with it.
And I I know the version of the series I watched on Crunchyroll was the censor cut. I think there's like a fully uncensored version of this anime with like full
I,
on scenes.
ah, I don't think I watched that. So
Yeah.
that if that exists, I mean, if that's your style, please go ahead. You can enjoy that. It's not my particular style. In fact, I would say that this anime was a bit too sexual for my liking. But as a fan of Kill la Kill, that's really saying something. So I'm gonna back off before I get attacked in the comments because they're like, "Oh, you like Kill la Kill, you like naked people." It's like,
The
Clothes are
nakedness
fine.
in Kill la Kill had a point.
Yeah, it's for the story. This granted, this is technically for the story, but
The story is shit.
yeah, Kill la Kill has a good story. This is this was good, but now it's just not good.
It's like with Kill la Kill. They told you you can have a cheeseburger and they gave you a cheeseburger. With this one, it's like you're being offered like prime steak or something like that, perfectly seasoned with a good sauce, and instead it's just a slab of cow beef. And not even
And you're
properly
like,
prepared shit too.
you show them the menu, and you're like, but when we got here, the first 12 minutes, it said we were gonna get this nice steak, and they were like, well, chef was out of town, so you're gonna get this flank. Enjoy. It's burnt. Well, put two cute anime girls on it, and then figure it out. Let's see. Oh, also, it's time for my roast. Okay, I'm gonna roast this boy Natsuo. Ready?
Okay.
Boy, you got that Peter Griffin ass fit. He really got the white shirt, green pants, Peter Griffin. He's looking like Peter Griffin out here.
He definitely looks like anime boy Peter Griffin. Yeah, I can see that.
He is Peter Griffin. He's going out with Cleveland Joe and Quagmire because he's Peter Griffin fit.
Okay, you don't understand how tempted I am now just to, for the thumbnail of this video, just to take him and just like draw glasses on him or something.
Oh, please give him the Peter because he's wearing the Peter Griffin fit. His school uniform is the Peter Griffin fit, white with green.
I forgot the green. The green did not look good. It That green's not a very appealing color.
Um, there might like this is me really pushing my uh my literacy comprehension skills, but his pants being green, green being a symbol of hope, um, green being a symbol of desires. I'm just saying if his pants are green and that's a symbol of hope and desire, kind of see where I'm gonna lean into here. I don't think I have to spell it out,
I see
but
where
I
you're
think that's a
going.
stretch. I think that's a big stretch.
The question I always ask myself with thoughts like this of when I should look deeper, does the author seem like they thought of that? Like, is that a detail that they are shown to
The
care about?
author, the author of the first 12 minutes, maybe great color choices in the first 12 minutes. The author of the second half of the series, can't buy that. I can't buy that they were intentionally doing that.
This I somehow got more upset at this episode than I was expecting, but not for the reasons I was expecting.
Yeah, like because I have seen trash anime, and I've watched trash anime that I don't even know why I watched it, but I at the end of the day I was able to get through it. This one leaves me a little bit more disappointed because there is something there.
So you do know what you're doing.
Yeah, like it, it's like, with my students, like if there's a kid who I know, isn't very strong at speaking English or anything, I'm like, okay, I can help you. Like we can work through this. Like just do your best. But the student that like can nail every test but doesn't try at all during class, I'm like, come on, man.
Yeah.
You could do it. I know you could do it. Just do it for me. Come on. For the thing about the children.
Yeah. I
Um,
wasn't expecting domestic girlfriend to elicit emotions out of me. Of course, those emotions ended up being rage, but
yeah, yeah.
you could have
I
had
kind of
something.
Yeah, that part was, like I said, the most disappointing aspect of it. Like I'm not really angry, I guess. I don't really have rage towards the series. I guess mine is just so much disappointment. I I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
I think it's for me because, like I said, I had just finished rewatching March Comes In Like a Lion after that, and I was craving something more like it. I We are doing an episode on March. I will have you know I need to vomit out my love for it, but I watched the first 12 minutes and it was reminiscent of that. Wasn't nearly as good, but I'm like,
That let me just stop you there. That is such a compliment coming from NoTea for
oh
this
yeah,
series. Like to compare something to March is like the highest acclaim it can get on the No T catalog, with the exception of like Spirited Away.
Honestly, yeah. It's like it was like a big deal when I was watching. I'm like, okay, you got something. I'm feeling your style, kid. And then you shit the bed and you ruin your clothes.
Yeah, it's like, come on, man, we just bought you this new bed sheet.
Like,
um,
I don't even know what's gonna happen in the final episode. Like, there was already such a 180 shift in this episode. I don't know what 12 more episodes would accomplish.
I think my last positive I have from the first episode is that there was a basketball on screen for 3 seconds, so that gets plus 1 point because I like basketball. I was really digging for positives here, man. I was after the first 12 minutes, I was like, I need to find something that I like.
It's it didn't make it easy for us. It was like it was a struggle to be like it's like
Like, I'm watching this.
now I've never had sex before, but I imagine this is what it feels like when it's going good for the first half, but then it just falls off for the second. I imagine this is what that feels like. It
I like I haven't had that encounter pleasurably, so I have no idea. Um, but I do like the conversation that Rui and Natsuo had after they had sex,
mhm,
where she was like saying how it's not really good, it's not really bad. It was just kind of like, well, we did this,
yeah.
and it's like I said, I feel like Rui is either going to be the best or the worst character in the series. Like if they handle her correctly, I will actually like finish this series. And I will be happy to finish the series just because I can sustain the trash of the series. I can enjoy it enough from a satirical point of view if there is a good character in the series.
I feel
But
like if I were to invest any more time in the series than I would need some form of intoxicant. Like I would need booze or weed or something. I'm not going through it sober.
that's completely fair. But I guess we might not have even seen the worst of it yet. I'm assuming we haven't.
I hear it gets so much worse, although I don't know how much is covered in the anime, so we'll just I am my one prediction is that he does bang the teacher at some point.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think that has to happen.
Like
Like they've alluded to it.
they've
They
alluded
want to do it.
like I know they are kind of preying on the forbidden love aspect of it for tension, for sauce, for angst, but they're gonna do it. I know they're gonna do it.
Yeah, we have my two of my last notes here on the first episode before we get to predictions. Speaking of like the lust for the teacher, I have there's only 3 minutes left in this episode. What's next? And that's when obviously he goes in for the kiss with the teacher. He eyes up the teacher's whole body, which, by the way, you know, taking advantage of someone who is intoxicated. Did you
That's yeah. It was
consent is not given prior to the execution of the action. Consent can only be given, and guys, and people in the world should know this, but consent is something that is a verbal, or if they're mute, written down, but there needs to be consent for any action that you will take on a person, or else that is sexual harassment. The interaction that Rui and Natsuo had, that was consensual. They both wanted it, I'm assuming. It was a pleasurable, well, it was an experience that they were both able to gain something from, and it was consensual. When your teacher, who is now your older sister, has a lot of alcohol in her system, she cannot rationally think. She is passed out on your couch. That is not, this is not a time to go in and make your move. Okay, guys? Okay, people of the world. Okay, like when you're put in this situation and you think to yourself, ah, my teacher, who is now my older sister, looks very attractive, as you would think, as we all are people of the world. This is my perfect opportunity to make a move on her because she is in a poor state of mind right now and is passed out on the couch. So I'm gonna kiss her. No, don't do that. Sexual harassment
This message
is
also
bad.
brought to you by the woke liberal agenda. But
Yeah.
that really ruined so much of his character for me. Because again, first half there was something interesting about him. He was a compelling enough character to watch, and then he pulls that shit, and I'm like, no, 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 just no. And you know the series is gonna paint it like it's a decent or an okay thing to do. Like,
Oh yeah, and once again, if this was a comedy, I don't care. All of this gets thrown out the wall because it's a comedy. Stuff is funny. Like, yeah, sexual harassment isn't cool,
or it's like
obviously,
if
but
this was a,
like if it's a comedy, it's like I can laugh at someone being so stupid that they would do that.
it's like if this is comedy, he would be doing that. Uh, Ryu would find them, and he would like kick him in the nuts or something. Boom, comedy.
Yeah, like, but this is not a comedy. This is supposed to be taken literally. This is supposed to be dramatic. They light it like it's dramatic. The characters act dramatic. They don't feel real, but they are supposed to be a real like kind of. It's supposed to be realistic, and it's not. Um,
It is kind of weird from an animation point of view how it's like you said, he is passed out drunk. He has had a lot to drink. He cannot think or do anything on the couch, and they take a lot of time to draw them boobies bouncing, sort of. Like they want
they
you to find this passed out drunk lady hot.
granted you could. That's fine. That's your decision as a viewer to find a waifu in a series or a husbando or whoever you might be interested in, with legal ramifications, of course.
Mm.
But for this character who is not you, who is in this world, who is not looking as an outside viewer into a two-dimensional world with fictional characters, who is a, in this sense, real character in this world, that is not cool.
And the implication that this is a perfectly natural thing to happen. Of course you'd want to make out with your pass out drunk older sister slash teacher. Like, ah, ah. Wanted to throw up after watching it.
Yeah, I'm hoping that doesn't happen to me, especially considering the previous week's ailments, but
Food poisoning's a
um
bitch.
don't eat food. But my last comment I have about the series before we get into predictions is this is going back to the opening. Um, that ending is fire. The visuals, the song. Why does the ending not get talked about as much as the opening?
I don't remember the ending. I think I need to rewatch it.
Yes, you do. There were great visuals. It was a great song. I was bopping. I downloaded it on Apple Music because I'm a nerd and I use Apple Music.
I
Um,
do think I remember. I do remember really enjoying it. I just don't remember the specifics of it.
I really liked it. It's called Wagamama, I think.
Sounds funny.
Sounds funny actually now that I say it out loud. Um, but yeah, I like it a lot. And this is coming from someone who said earlier that I think the opening is a little overrated, but I think this ending is super underrated. I actually really like the ending theme song, not the ending of the first episode. I like the ending theme song.
I I do think all the hype for that opening is just from the song itself.
That's true. And but when I rate anime openings and endings, I tend to put everything into it.
Yeah,
As you know, it's something I
yeah,
care about passionately.
that's fair.
So I can't just say, "Oh, the song is good, so that makes the opening good," because like it has to be everything for me. It has to be a mix of everything, and like the anime itself does contribute to. my overall enjoyment of the opening theme song. Like, if this was the opening for Mob, as much as it wouldn't make any sense, I would like it a little bit more, but I can't because, obviously it's not.
I'd say for the opening, I'd rate the visuals like a 6 out of 10 or something. I think they're perfectly fine, passable, and then the song is like a solid 9.5 out of 10 for me.
Yeah, I think I'd honestly give the visuals, yeah, about a 6, and then the song about an 8.
Mm.
But so many people, like when I watch top 100 anime opening lists, like put this as like number 10, and I'm like, whoa, buddy, whoa, I can't give you that. Um,
Especially
but
you got
different criteria, different tastes.
I mean, you literally got
I
the March comes in like a line openings right there in front of you.
yeah, I mean, like the second one, what's it called? Sayonara Bystander. Man, that one hits.
Mm-hmm. Opening
That one,
free.
that one's.
Oh, which what's the title of that one?
I know there's the Bump of Chicken one. That's the first one. Then it's Sayonara Bystander. I don't remember the third one, and then We Are the Coming Spring is the fourth one.
Yeah, I think the artist for the second and third is the same person.
I think so. Which, by the way, we keep talking about March. If you haven't seen March, do your homework. Go
There
watch
will
and
be
read.
a over an hour long video about it coming soon where I will be ranting about it the entire time.
Needless to say, I've also seen the series, and I will be contributing as much as possible. But considering this is a personal favorite of NoTea,
I
I'll let them take care of this.
I peer pressured him into watching it.
It wasn't too much peer pressure because I did cave in pretty easily and watch it because it was very enjoyable for entirely different reasons than Domestic Girlfriend.
Opening theme for March is called "Raise the Flag."
Oh, that's right. Oh, yeah, yeah. Which, by the way, all the openings are great for March. Thank
And
you, Shaft Studios.
we need to go back to talk about Domestic Girlfriend, but ending to Orion from March comes in like a lion is just one of the best things I've ever
Mm,
seen.
I would say it's even better than this one, but I
But
don't think that needs to be said.
but we're not talking about peak fiction. We're talking about this.
Well, I mean, let's really we can compare this to March because let's think about like what's Ray's older sister named Kyoko?
Which Pina? Well, there's a
No, no, no,
Hina in
Ray.
each series.
Oh my God, this we've connected it. We've done it.
God damn it.
We've solved the Matrix. No, Ray's older sister, the is their name Kyoko? I think
Kyoko.
like light Kyoko. Okay. A lot of the scenes with her interactions with I got before we do the podcast, I have to remember all the characters' names. But with a lot of her interactions with the older men characters that she goes around with, they also have very similar color choices, and that's Studio Shaft, who is regarded, in my opinion, as one of the best animation studios,
Mm-hmm.
especially for giving good color choices. So when we compare that to the vibrance of color in Domestic Girlfriend, there is kind of a lot that is similar. So it's like I could tell that the animation studio is not the issue here.
Oh no, the animation was one of the better things about it. Like the character designs are all enjoyable enough to look at. The animation was fairly lively. It wasn't like over the top, but it wasn't like still the entire time. And like the compositing was pretty good. The colors and shadows were again not groundbreaking, but they always served to uphold the scenes that they were doing, even if the scenes are
Absolutely.
shit.
Yeah, absolutely. So and like I said, it looks fine. If you could get around with harem trash and looks, I guarantee the series is going to be fun for you. But if it's not your style, I completely understand. Predictions. What's happening?
Okay, so I've already predicted that he is going to bang the teacher. That's going to happen. There's
I
going
would second that prediction.
there's going to be at least one other girl in this harem situation.
I feel like there has to be. I didn't, but do you have a prediction on how that character is going to come into play? Is it gonna be a related character or is it gonna be an unrelated character?
I am go.
I think I'm guessing it's a cousin. I'm going with cousin.
I am hoping it's maybe just like a classmate or something. But
I'm
I
going out on a limb. I'm saying cousin.
yeah, it's like I kind of lost all hope for the series. It's kind of like with 100 Girlfriends. I you have
Whoa, you take that back. Do not say domestic girlfriend is like 100 girlfriends unless it's a positive thing you're saying.
uh, okay. I'll say this when comparing to the two. Both of them brought me to a feeling of okay, do whatever the fuck you want. You clearly show you don't care about anything. 100 Girlfriends does that on purpose to break its viewer sanity, and this one did it by accident.
Okay, all right. I'm putting the red card back in my pocket.
If we ever do an episode of 100 Girlfriends, I'm probably gonna smoke weed beforehand.
And I won't need to because I'll be on the high of that series because man, I love that series.
We finally hit girlfriend number 30, and it's 200 chapters in. That's oh my god.
But enough talking about another fan. We have literally two of our favorite series we were talking about instead of domestic girlfriend, which should really say something about domestic girlfriend. Where we'd much rather be talking about our favorite series.
It's a, this episode one felt like a betrayal. Like I felt like I was betrayed.
Yeah, it did kind of feel like a stab in the back, right?
It's like, especially with our low expectations, because it's like we came into it guarded and scared, but we opened up our hearts a little. We were vulnerable
I
with them.
gave it something, you know. I invited it in my house, offered it a soda, and you
Like
know what it did to me? It spilled the soda on the carpet, my new carpet, and you know what it said to me? Oh, it's okay, it'll come out, and it's like cherry soda, and it's like a red stain on my white carpet. It's all over. I'm like, it's not gonna come out. I need to get bleach or something. And, oh, you need bleach? Well, instead of bleach, we have Drano, and I'm like, Drano? That's not gonna clean the stain. What are you talking about?
it's like the series. Like I was opening up to you. I was feeling the things you were showing. I was connecting with you on things that were emotional to me, and then you just like spun me around and just punched me straight in the deck
Two times.
2 times. First time when
Hurt.
the initial twist happened, and then the second time during the ending scene.
And you know what's worse? This is episode one. There's so much more to
It
come.
could. I'm so glad I'm only watching the final episode because I don't know if I could put up with the series for the entire run.
And another prediction I have. This is a pretty simple one. I think there's gonna be a beach episode or a pool episode. It's just gonna do the harem trash stuff. So we're gonna see them interact with each other with minimal clothing in public. That's
Yeah,
that's my prediction.
I can definitely see that happening.
Which, some beach episodes are really fun, are really good, are a great way for the characters to connect. It's a great way to see relationships and friendships. But in this series, I don't think that's going to happen. I think it's going to be a excuse to have these characters interact with minimal clothing,
And
which
we,
can be done well. I don't think the series is going to do that.
especially with Hina, because she has the. I
He
feel
has
like they're going to want to have fun with
the
those.
the persuasion.
The persuasion,
She is a +4 charisma.
but I didn't
Um,
have fun
another
with this.
prediction, another prediction I have is I feel like there's going to be a situation where he is going to sleep with one of the girls, and the other girl is going to walk in and be like, "Oh, how could you? You you hurt my heart. You you're breaking my heart, Anakin." And it's like it's gonna happen. It's some situation like that is gonna happen where he's going to be in bed or inside of another girl. Honestly, I'm almost wanting to predict a situation where it's like there is a girl naked under his covers and the other girl walks in, right?
Yeah,
Like they are naked under the covers and another girl walks in. Like If this is a comedy, that's hilarious. I love it when that happens in comedies because I can laugh at that stuff. But this is a drama. This is supposed to be real. So it's not funny. It's just embarrassing for all involved.
It's, I you're probably going to be right on some level about that. There's just going to be a very melodramatic moment where again they're going to ask me to take it seriously, and I'll just look and reply, "No, no, you."
I know. No, 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 no. I'm not falling for your tricks again. No, no, no.
All right, here's not a prediction, but a question. Like, how involved do you think the dad's actually going to be in the series?
I don't want to say that he's already served his purpose, right?
But he
But
kind of already
I
has.
think, but he kind of already has. I think if the series goes this direction, there is a chance that like the dad and the Tachibana mom have some sort of altercation or interaction where they don't want to be with each other for like an episode or something. And then it's like that idea of like, oh, well, we have to move out or blah, blah, blah. So they might be that situation where they get into an argument and they separate. And then I think the father will play a more important role in the situation. But I don't think the series is going to be that sophisticated.
That's
So, yeah, maybe the dad won't play a major role at all. Maybe he'll just be the one liner
like he's
standalone side character.
like he's gonna be doing either all one-liners or it's just gonna be him flirting with his new wife. That he's even less of a character than he is. Like,
Yeah, she's not even she is a plot tool. She's not even a character.
yeah, like at least with the dad, we could possibly infer things about him based on scenes he had with his son, or
Yeah, and
or
once again, the first 12 minutes gave us enough time to establish those characters. But when the mom is introduced, Tachibana mom, um, it's the series is at an incredible pace. It's going so fast because they have to be like, oh, now their relationship. Oh, this is the mom. This is this. This is that. Oh, now we're moving together. Oh, by the way, and it moves so fast. It doesn't allow us to establish that character.
like the fact that he had never met this woman before this happened, or it was never mentioned to him before this happened, and like I think Hina says he had met the dad a couple times before, so it's like, why was the kid so left in the dark about it? Like, does he have mommy issues or something with like his mom dying when he was young? Okay, explore that maybe.
Like, and I mean, a prediction. They're probably gonna explore that. I mean, there is a major not holiday, but it is treated as a special day on the like anniversary of a loved one's death in Japan. That is a traditional day of like remembrance. There's a specific holiday in Japan, which actually just happened, where you are kind of not forced, but like it is recommended that you go consult your dead relatives. So and some anime series who are probably better than Domestic Girlfriend tackle those ideas, like uh, Gotobun no Hanayome, quintessential quintuplets. Um, they tackle that idea with their dead mom, and that could be something that gets approached, but I'm not predicting it.
It's a thing of I can see them doing it maybe in the manga, but I no longer trust the series to actually make something out of that. Like,
Like
I'm sorry, you had the setup of this confused kid who lost his mom when he was young and is shown not to be the closest with his dad.
we can buy that. I could buy that. I could get into this.
Like I'm sorry, the opening 12 minutes promised me something good.
And what are you trying to tell me that the loss of a mom can be substituted by gaining an older woman's sexual fantasy? Like what?
That could have been an idea. That could have been a concept.
Like it maybe, but not the way they're doing it.
And I would have liked if they actually explored his relationship with his parents and how that is currently affecting him. Which I wouldn't be initially upset about if this is like a full series. Because yeah, don't do everything all at once. Set things up, build them up, introduce concepts, and explore them later. But I don't trust the series to actually do that.
Also, and this is me just being me. Why do they have to be a family? Why why can't they just like be neighbors and this interaction? What what is the goal? Is it just so you can say domestic girlfriend? Like you couldn't think of another name, so you had to make them under the same household, so you called it domestic. Like why couldn't it be like, oh, you moved next door to them, or oh, we you go to this like oh but it has to be that they're a family now, so it just makes it even weirder. Like I want to take you seriously, serious, I really do, but you're not helping yourself.
Or it's like you had to make the teacher and the girl and Rui sisters. You couldn't have just made them separate people with their own lives. Because that's how the shit works.
That's how reality, what you're trying to achieve, works.
Like, explore how this kid interacts with a bunch of different people from a bunch of different places. But, like, I.
Like, yeah. I mean, I guess do I want to say all hope is lost? No, because like I said, there is one character I feel like that can be handled well. I'm going to ironically watch this series and laugh at it. I'm not gonna watch it and be like, oh, this is this is life changing. This is Wano arc One Piece level good stuff here. Like, no, I'm not gonna say that. I don't think anyone realistically says that this is comparable to one of those epics, but even like the smaller 12 episode series that do romance, like I think Bloom into You is 24 episodes or is it 12?
It
I don't
might.
know. I read the manga, so it might be
I read,
12.
I read the manga as well.
It might be 12 episodes,
I
but
think it's only 12
that
episodes.
that is such a dramatic relationship that I love watching and reading. Why can't Domestic Girlfriend be that?
I'd actually just reread Bloom into You recently, and, like, while I wouldn't rate it amongst my favorites, it probably does romance angst the best out of anything I've ever seen. Because it is
It is so good.
it is
So
deeply rooted in the characters and what they want and how their character development kind of challenges that.
and this is weird to say. I think pacing plays a lot into romance series.
Oh, definitely.
If you move too fast, it feels more like a harem. Like 100 Girlfriends moves very fast. That's because there's gonna be 100 girlfriends.
And it's also
So
established as an in-world concept that, like, you
yeah,
fall in love the second you see each other.
yeah, like it is intentionally fast. Some harem take its time, like quintessential quintuplets. They take their time, so it develops into a nice little story. And some romance series, when they want to be real serious, take a long time to really establish the romance. Like, I'm not really gonna call Comey a romance series, but there is romance in it, and that okay, maybe just romance in general in anime. But like Comey, it takes their time with it, or um, the one I was recently watching, The Dangers in My Heart, which, by the way, I absolutely fell in love with that series. I'd love to talk about that series at some point. But that romance is so genuine. Why are you approaching this very good series with garbage? Why,
It's
why, why? Like that's you have we the beautiful steak, and you've decided to serve the burnt steak.
I was like, there are some series who really take the time to romance to really set things up properly. Then there's those that draw it out for drama, which you can usually tell. There you can usually tell, and I feel like this series is going fast in all the wrong ways, but it's going to be slow in all the wrong ways.
And that's an easy prediction to make. Like we're gonna like, oh, interesting character moment. Zoop, here's fun shenanigans. Oh, now we have to slow down because the characters feel zoop, here's his fun and shenanigans.
Like
And it's like it, In a comedy, that works. This was not a comedy.
It's kind of like what you said, like after that first 12 minutes, within 2 minutes, like girlfriend's introduced, marriage is brought up, moving in together, reveal of the sisters, and it's like, whoa, 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 whoa.
Give me a minute to breathe here.
And then in the next 5 minutes, it's established, oh, the teacher is flirty and all that stuff, and it's like,
It's like we like when you were like one at a time, one at a time, and maybe the manga's paced better, right? Like I guess I'm not sure.
I think it happened at about the same frequency in the manga, if I'm remembering correctly.
Okay, well, regardless, still, like pacing plays such a major role into these series, and when you don't adequately pace it out, when you're not able to be slow when you have to be slow, be fast when you have to be fast, or just be a mix of both at the right times. You know, it does it does make the series feel less dramatic. It does take away from what we're supposed to gain from the series. We lose when you're not doing something correct, and that once again that's probably less on the studio, probably less on the direction, probably more into the writing.
I definitely think it's a writing thing. Like, there's sometimes when I'm watching or reading something, and it's like I can tell where it's like, or I feel like, okay, this has some good ideas and good concepts. The execution's just not the best. Then there's just some things where like this where it's like, as a foundational concept, this just isn't good, or it just doesn't work the way the author wants it to work.
Yeah, and I'd be interested to see if there are interviews with the author just to see what they're trying to say. Because there's some times where it's like like Isayama from Attack on Titan, where it's like so many people misinterpret it, and he just kind of feels bad about that because he's like, I didn't intend for this misinterpretation of my series. But I don't feel like we're misinterpreting the series. I feel like this is what it's meant to do.
Wait, there was something I wanted to say. What was it I wanted to say? Oh, something to talk about like with pacing and the drama and stuff like that. One line that could have made that opening reveal so much better is if it was just stated that he had met the mom before, because that there were so many things that happened in that scene at the same time where it's like he didn't know his dad was seeing someone. He didn't know that it was serious enough for them to consider marriage. He didn't know about the moving or anything. Like, you could have just dropped a line of him saying, "Oh, that woman who I've met before, who maybe or like she's come over a couple times." Like,
Yeah, yeah, that's an easy fix, right? I mean, that does slow it down. That fixes a pacing issue.
but it's like I
And then you could really even set it back like to like even get a flashback in where they're interacting at a restaurant or a cafe or a park. And they're just saying, stuff like that, and establishing a little bit of a slow build up to the characters. But nah, it's just skip past that.
yeah, when I
Let
went to watch
see.
this episode, these weren't the emotions I was expecting to feel. That would just be
Uh,
dumb, goofy, bad, laugh at it the entire time. But no, you make me feel things and you break my heart.
and this is a message to all the students of the world. When the teacher looks at you and says, "I thought I could never trust men again," please report that teacher to the superintendent or the principal or the police.
Like, it
She
does
is trying stuff on you.
it doesn't matter if she's hot. That is still, you know, in insinuating stuff with a minor, which is illegal and wrong. And like,
And
I feel like people are going to misinterpret the whole main character as, oh, he's mature, he can handle it. Fucking literally, his whole character in the beginning is that he's an immature
is
kid.
immature. Yeah, it's like, okay, if this was like an 18-year-old who is acts like above and mature, you know, maybe I'm trying to think of a character I can think of who's like a overtly mature high schooler character. Can't think of one off the top of my head,
Yeah,
but
no.
just we're all imagining it like this 18-year-old, very mature, kind of lives. Maybe he does all the work at his house, like his dad's always out with work and maybe dating a lot. So he's kind of the one that takes the adult responsibility, and he's like I said, 18 and an adult. And he has that kind of mature mindset where he's able to kind of live separate to the own world. And like he even establishes that early, where he's like, I'm not like the other kids. I'm a bit, I have to do things a bit differently because I am more mature. I have to, my with my mom dying and stuff like that. I could see the relationship between the teacher and him working,
I
but in this situation, we are told the exact opposite.
like this kid explicitly talks about how he doesn't know what he wants. He's confused by a lot of things. And the scene where he is like pleading with her to take him seriously, it just comes off as childish.
But once again, he's a child, so it's okay for him to act childish.
Yeah.
It's when Hina acts childish that we're like, whoa, you were an adult.
It's like
Stop.
him being a immature brat is not making him a bad character, but the series trying to retroactively it's going to try to tell us how he's such a mature kid, and that's just not the case that we have seen.
Yeah, like everything you've presented tells me that this is not a mature kid by any means. But
Which makes sense. He's a kid.
which, yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, if that's the story you're telling, great. I don't think that's the story you're trying to tell. I think we're going to get a situation where, you know, because I'm predicting he's going to have sex with the teacher too. When he does, she's going to say something stupid like, you're very mature for your age, and it's like, no, he's not. No, that was never established. Having sex with someone does not make you mature, and God, I can't believe I have to say that.
And which it's weird because they made a point with the opening sex scene with Rui where that didn't make him an adult. He didn't grow up from that. So obviously you have some idea of what you're talking about.
It's like you know what you're supposed to be doing. Don't mess this up. But yeah. Any other predictions you have for the series? Anything major predictions?
It's,
Do you think he ends up like
he's gonna end up with one of them. I don't know if it's gonna be
yeah,
like.
okay, yeah. Do you think he ends up with
I
if
think he does.
if you had to predict, who do you think he ends up with? I'm gonna
I'd
predict
say the
Rui.
teacher. I'd say he ends up with the
Oh,
teacher.
okay, okay. All right. Yeah, I'm gonna predict Rui. You're saying Hina, so
Although I don't know if the anime is gonna cover the ending, or who knows what's gonna happen.
uh, do you really care?
No,
I mean, okay, that is a genuine question. Though. Do you care about this series?
if you just showed me the first 12 minutes, I would say yes. But now it's like I thought we had something. I thought
I will be honest with you. I do relatively care for this series. Um, but in the same way that I would care about like a sick puppy, I'm like, oh man, you have your whole life to live, buddy. Like I feel bad for you. I don't know how to help. Like that's the thing. Like I don't know how to help you, but I got some food for you, so I'll feed you. I'll watch your series, but maybe you'll get better. I don't know, but you are a sick puppy right now.
I can see that. I can definitely see the ironic enjoyment for the series, but it's like I'm never gonna stop thinking about that opening, the first 12 minutes, because I'm never going to be able to get the series we could have gotten out of my mind.
Oh, and yeah, I'm I'm not gonna predict that somehow miraculously that's gonna be the rest of the series. Like I'm not even gonna stand here and lie to you, right? But it'd be nice.
It would be cool. It's like,
It'd be awesome. That would be absolutely expectation subversion if that's the series we got.
and I do think the series would be capable of having moments on that level, but the rest of the series just wouldn't be worth trudging through just to get to those moments for me.
I can't say it will be. Like I said, I plan to finish the series just because I'm going to give it a shot. I like Harem Trash. I'm willing to suffer if it means I can laugh or feel something one time after the 12 episodes. Um, I can get through that and stay alive.
You're gonna finish it and then just put it behind you and just never look at it again.
It's like, all right, good job, domestic girlfriend. You made it to the list, and then go over there, get out of here, and then I go back to reading JoJo. Something actually good.
But yeah, that's all I got for this series. It's
And I guess this is the final question I want to ask you on the series. You've seen one episode. Do you like it more than Rent a Girlfriend?
that is difficult because my hatred for Rent a Girlfriend comes from such a philosophical place on like you could find out as much, if not more, my opinions and feelings towards art as if I was talking about my favorite thing. Like if you we had a conversation about March, which we're gonna have, you will find out more about me as a person, what matters to me, what's important, what I look for, what connects with me, what resonates with me. You will find out as much when talking about Rent a Girlfriend versus this, which is like, ah, I feel more disappointed by this one.
Well,
Like
yeah,
Rent
that's a good
falls in the
quote. That's a good
category of
quote.
I didn't have high expectations for it, and I was met with low expectations. This one, I was promised something good, something that I could engage with, and I was just given something that was shit. I guess I will hate Rent a Girlfriend more because it's always promising you it's going to change, that it's going to get better, that things are going to progress at some point when it doesn't. This one will at least do shit. It won't make sense half the time. It won't feel natural, but it'll do things. I feel like I'll
I think I go
I feel
ahead.
like I'll get somewhere watching Domestic. I'll probably hate it the entire time, but I'll get somewhere.
That's fair. I think it definitely, if anything, it'll progress faster. Like there'll actually be well, I can't say there'll be character development. The characters will somehow develop faster.
There'll be character progress.
Uh, characters will the story will end faster.
How many? Isn't there like 37 volumes of Rent a Girlfriend right now or something?
Rent is kicking. It's kicking, man. It's so good.
That
Like going like shopping like going to manga sections in Japan is actually hilarious because I like see all of like the super long series and then I somehow like see Kanojo Karishima. So I'm like, what is going on here? There's so many volumes. Like I think it's like half of Gintama.
I think Gintama, yeah, was like 70 volumes or something.
Yeah.
It's approaching half the length of One Piece.
God. Would you rather read the first half of One Piece or Red to Girlfriend? Clearly Red to Girlfriend. No way.
You're saying first half of One Piece like that's the bad section.
Arguably one of the best sections.
That's like it's not. You
It's
can
not
have
a
you
okay.
have
There's no bad section of what there's clearly no bad section of One Piece. I
One
would
Piece.
rather read my least favorite One Piece volumes than I would any of Red.
Like I have established, I'm not the biggest fan of the Punk Hazard arc. I will read that arc a dozen times over before I sit down for Rent a Girlfriend.
Would you how many times would you read Punk Hazard before watching Domestic Girlfriend?
How many chapters is Domestic Girlfriend? Oh wait, before I'd still pick Punk Hazard over Domestic Girlfriend. Like
Well, it's 28 volumes.
Domestic
Mm-hmm.
and Punk Hazard's like what 5?
I think it's 5.
I'll read it 5 times over.
Okay, all right, that's about the same. Okay, Punk Hazard volumes. Let's see. 46 chapters. 5 volumes. Yep. All right.
I do like how we are just consistently talking about other series instead of talking about the one we decided.
Well, you know, once again, I think that tells enough to the viewers about what the series truly is. Um, we have mentioned a lot of series that we do recommend you watch. 100 Girlfriends, if you're insane, or Darien, or if you watch March, which is actually a fantastic drama. And there's great romance series, Bloom Into You, Dangers in My Heart. There's new series releasing every day that you could watch, but instead we chose to watch Domestic Girlfriend. So
For
that was our
content.
decision. That was our decision. You don't have to make that decision. Of course you can, and you can tell us what you think about the series in the comments below because well, I think there is a lot to talk about at least with this series as we have proven by only talking about the first episode. And I hope that you anticipate just as much as we do in the end of the last episode.
But yeah, I've got nothing more to say about this series. It's not good.
So far, we're gonna finish. We're gonna watch that last episode. We're gonna let you know.
What have I done? But yeah,
Help me.
we'll talk about something good after this one. We just got to get through it.
I want to watch good anime.
We will eventually. But
So thank you everyone. We appreciate you tuning in. If you are interested in Domestic Girlfriend, if you like Domestic Girlfriend, or if you don't like Domestic Girlfriend, please let us know. Interested always to read comments. Love. Thank you for all your support. We appreciate your support in our solo videos as well as these podcast episodes. And no, T, would you like to leave us with a some words of wisdom?
don't bang your sister, who's also your teacher, who's also drunk and passed out.
Those are wise words. And that is what we've gained from this series. So that's saying a lot about Domestic Girlfriend episode 1. Tune in as we will discuss the last episode and potentially the series overall of Domestic Girlfriend. I'm Star the Anime Professor with my co-host NoTea. Thank you very much for listening to the Critics, Writers, and Weebs podcast.